Hi everyone, my name is David Matkin. This is a short video just trying to explain what it is that I want to raise funds for. I'm using the GoFundMe site for this. There's actually going to be two elements to the fundraising that I'm doing. So I'm going to just give a quick bit of history about me just really quickly. The really short version, because I could talk for hours on it. And then I'm just going to explain what it is that I want to do and what we need the funds for. So just a very quick history of myself and what it is that is wrong with me. I'm not going to go into completely what's wrong with me because, as you'll see later on, we ain't got time. I was born with something called Talipes equine varus affecting both of my feet. The common name for that is clubfoot, and it might sound very trivial, and I guess in some ways it is. Most people are sorted at a young age and don't have any problems, but a small minority of people go on to have difficulties in adulthood, and I am one of the lucky few that have difficulties. So Talipes equine varus, I've got a picture of it here. You can see the feet are twisted in. So what they do initially is physio splinting and try and straighten them out. If that doesn't work, they do surgery, and that's what they ended up doing with me, quite a lot of surgery up until about the age of 6, 7-ish, something like that. And unfortunately in my case what's happened is that the tendons that they stretched were overstretched a little bit, and as a result my feet have gone out the other way, and I've had issues into adulthood. I'm getting on to something like 20 operations now. Most recently I had a minor one on the right leg, which is now starting to cause me real problems. And basically at the age of 40, well before I was 39, I started having to use a wheelchair on a daily basis. Up until 14 I was quite active at school, didn't have any problems really, and then I had my first relapse. And after that I kind of went back to being a typical teenager and got on with stuff without letting it stop me. But as I've got older, I've started to have more serious issues. I have to take quite a lot of pain meds. I take morphine, 4 tablets of morphine a day. I'm on amitriptyline for neurogenic pain. I'm on anti-inflammatories. Because of those I'm on stomach protecting medicine, and it does stop me. It has stopped me doing a lot of things. I no longer go cycling because I can't deal with the pressures going through my feet. If I have to stop and put my foot down, really not good. So I can't cycle anymore, which I used to do a reasonable amount with the kids. We occasionally go for walks. Obviously I go in my wheelchair, but to go around the local forestry just takes forever because of the terrain. It's almost impossible. It's really slow going. Field day on grass again is really hard going. It's just not possible. Last Friday took Jessica to the playground. Couldn't take her on the rope slide thing. Couldn't take her on a lot of the climbing frames and swings because they have the wood chipped down, and it's just almost impossible in a wheelchair. You get stuck in it, it's horrible. So there's a lot that it stops me from doing, a huge amount. If I want to cut the grass, then I need to allow 3 days to cut the grass, 1 day to do a few hours of cutting, and then time to recover because just the pain levels get so high. Haven't taken the kids swimming in ages. Walking on the hard floor just causes so much pain because of the metalwork in my foot. So there's loads that I would love to do. I'd love to take them at the weekend and just go to the playground locally, but it's just horrendous. If you're in a wheelchair, it's really hard going. So a mountain trike would make a massive difference to me because of those rough grounds, the bark. It wouldn't be a problem at all. So what I want to do is do some fundraising for some charities. Now in 2006 I did a fundraiser for the Steps charity, which I'm a trustee for, and it's time to do another fundraiser for charity. There's several charities that I'm going to do fundraisers for over the coming years. They are steps, again, Birmingham Children's Hospital, where my youngest daughter had open heart surgery at 3 months. There's the Snowdrop Suite at Burton Hospital, who looked after us when our third child, Adam, very sadly died at 40 minutes. And also possibly for the Sands charity as well, maybe do those two together. And then possibly Ronald McDonald House, who supported us when Jess was in hospital. And after talking to Willie Thorne, name dropping or what, the other evening, I've added Rainbows to my list as well. They're a local hospice in the area. So they're the charities. In 2006, the one that I did for Steps, I did what I called my maddest triathlon, my maddest event yet, which involved a skydive, and then I was handcuffed and chained to the inside of a cell, a cage, and that was chained up on the outside, and I had to escape from the handcuffs and then get past the padlocks on the chain, which obviously I did. And then the third part of that triathlon was fire juggling whilst blindfolded. Yes, it took a lot of practice. It was a bit insane, and apologies to my dear wife, who I burnt at least once in rehearsals. So the triathlon is going to be completely insane. It's going to start with an escape, which I'll explain in a minute. It's going to have a descent down the spoil heap at Pooley Country Park in a wheelchair. And the third part is going to be literally a long distance challenge in either a mountain trike or in my regular wheelchair, whichever. It's going to be quite horrendous. So if I just go through the three components one at a time, just to give you an idea of how insane this is. So the first part of the challenge will be an escape, and it will actually be done with chain, a metal tube, and padlocks. But just to give you an idea of what it will look like, the chain will be sort of doubled over and will go through the tube. It'll go over my neck. The tube will be slid up to my neck so that there's a little bit of wiggle room, just so that I don't choke. And then this chain will be fastened on to the other side of either a tree or a monument or something, not sure yet. So it will basically be knotted at the other end. This tube, this metal tube, will be longer than my arm reach, obviously, if there was a padlock there. Now I could undo it, but the tube would be much longer. It'll be longer than my arms, which means I won't be able to get to the padlock. I will then be handcuffed and have what's called a belly chain, which the handcuffs will be fastened to the belly chain, which will go round my waist, and it will stop me from lifting my hands up. So the escape, I will be covered for this. I won't lie, I will be covered for this escape, so people want to see how it's done. I will escape from that and then go on to the second part of the challenge. The second part of the challenge is to do with the spoil heap at Pooley. It's a heap that is around about 35 metres high. It has a very nice gentle path that goes around the outside, nice spirals up, nice and gentle. It took us 45 minutes to get up there in my wheelchair on the gentle path. Admittedly, I was carrying a little passenger. Jessica, our youngest at 4, was sat on my knee for most of the way. That won't be happening again. But the challenge will actually be the descent from the top. I'm hoping the escape will happen at the top of the spoil heap, and then I'll have to descend. However, the rule will be I will not be allowed to use the gentle spiral path. 35 metres high, this thing. Some of the sides are very, very steep. I'll be choosing a route down that is cross-country and hopefully not too steep. This is why we need the mountain trike to do this event. The third component of the event is a distance trek that's going to be partly across country roads and partly round a mountain bike track. So I've got to get from Pooley Country Park to Hicks Lodge, which is near Ashby, which is about 14 miles distance, and then I'm going round the mountain bike track, and I'm actually going to go round twice, which will mean that my total distance covered will have been just over that of a marathon. So what I need the funding for is for something called a mountain trike. There's a picture of one here. It's basically a wheelchair that is designed for cross country. Now I'm going to need to do a lot of training to get myself ready to do a marathon type distance. I'm going to need to do training. I'm going to have to do practicing the escape and all the rest of it and the descent. These things are not cheap. There is a possibility to hire, but I think realistically speaking the hire is not going to be an option because of the price is going to come close to £1,000 just to hire it for 4 times through the year at 9 to 10 days, plus postage, plus because of what I'm going to be doing could be considered a danger sport, there'll be insurance needed, so we're going to get quite a high price if we were to just do the hiring. Now I tried to hire one at Easter for myself to use down in Cornwall, and I got in touch with them 6 weeks before I wanted it, and they didn't have any available, so they're actually quite hard to get hold of anyway. So how much do we need to raise? It's quite a lot of money. The total cost of the trike will be 4,820. Now I've added a bit because they also do attachments as well as the actual trike. They do an attachment that goes on the back that's like a luggage thing, and push bars, and I'll explain why I've added that in a minute. So 4,820 is quite a lot of money to raise. There's no way I could afford to do this on my own, which is why I'm appealing to the good people in Facebook land. To put it into context, all prices in English pounds, by the way. If we got 500 people to donate £10, that would cover the cost of the mountain trike, okay? And have a bit left over, obviously, as well. If I could get 700 people to take part and donate, we'd only need to give sort of £6.89 each. So we're not talking huge amounts of money from any one individual. So if I can get 500 people to donate 10 quid, I'm sorted and happy, and then I can get on with the training and get the event going. I have a backup plan, which is called a freewheel, which is a little BMX sort of size wheel that goes onto the front of your wheelchair, and it means that you can deal with rough ground much more easily. So it could be that I end up doing the event in that. It will mean that the distance will be a lot harder because it will be pushing the wheels directly. If that's the case, that's the case. I'm happy to do it that way, but the goal is to raise the money for the mountain trike. So once the bike has been funded, the mountain trike has been funded, I will then use the trike in future years to do fundraising events for the other charities. Like I said, if you were to donate £1 towards the trike, then you'll get one vote, and we will do a vote, and the charity that comes up with the highest number of votes will get the money from the first fundraising event. And then in either a year or 2 years' time, I will do another event that will raise money for one of the other charities. We'll do it in rank order, and every other year or so I'll do an event that will raise funds for the other charity. Other events that I was thinking about was possibly the mud run, which has already been done in the mountain trike, but I think that could be quite good fun. A bit insane, but there you go. Maybe I could do the Three Peaks Challenge one year, not in one night because I don't think that would be safe and doable, but maybe like do one weekend and another weekend and another weekend and do that. Maybe I could do across the country at the narrowest point, obviously, one time. So there's lots of things that we could do that would raise funds for the other charities in the years to come. So that's the idea, is that this isn't just a raising nearly £5 for just one-off event. It's going to be for 4 or 5 years for all the other charities as well.